Welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, November 13, 2020. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Properly managing finances and adequately preparing for the future is the advice given by financial consultant at the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange, Tatley Francis. Francis gave that advice during a virtual symposium hosted by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank last evening in SVG as part of activities to observe Financial Information Month. He commented on the challenging times being faced, especially due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and said that preparing and working hard is important, but managing the finances is key.
Situation. No, regardless of what the textbook says, regardless of what I may tell you, your situation might be different from mine. The way you experience your challenges may be different from the way your banker or your neighbor experiences it. Whatever way in which the challenging times manifest themselves for you, one thing you have to do now, you must re-evaluate your financial situation and your financial plan. If you don't have one, this is a time that you should, in the revaluation, definitely begin to prepare one that you will work with. And you have to rethink certain expenses, like your holiday expenses. You rethink your what are you going to do for Christmas, what are you going to do for New Year, and that includes your startup. You must know where you are, what your situation is. And the other step is that you really should always stay calm. Financial and money decisions made under pressure, under stress, always lead to disaster. So you want to stay calm. Find ways to reduce stress. Avoid situations, avoid even people that make you nervous.
Francis said that saving money is usually difficult, but it is something that has to be done even in challenging times.
Money in this challenging time is that you have to scale back. It's important to check and see what non-essential, what non-critical that you should be spending. You should not be spending on now, that you would have been spending on if the times were not hard. But in these challenging times, you look at those big ticket purchases that you would have planned to make and hold back those monies. Why? Because every one of these monies that you hold back is one that you keep today to take care of your needs in case the situation prolongs. You ask yourself, what can I do cheaper? What can I do without, because it's not a necessity at this time, and we make our way into the future, which is so uncertain. Critical step, talk about it. Talk to those who depend on the money that you are thinking of managing in these challenging times and the money that you have. It's very important to talk. It's very important to discuss. Just about with everybody you need to. Everyone who you can have involved, you need to keep them involved in those discussions.
The financial consultant also gave some pointers on shopping and spending wisely.
So these few points on shopping is important. Window shop first, because once you're working with that, it means that you are looking to prepare yourself to spend, and you have a time to think about what you're spending before you spend. You manage your money out of your habit. And this is for both individual and enterprises or entrepreneurs working on their own business expenses. You ask yourself questions like an interrogator to make sure that that money you're going to spend is going to be spent on something relevant for now. And if not, you hold it back so you can take care of tomorrow. Invest. We are always asked, do we invest in these challenging times? Yes, we should invest. Continue to invest. Every quote-unquote spare money that we find, we invest. In this case, we're talking investment for the short-term investment instruments and accounts, and investment for long-term as well.
CARICOM Secretary General Ambassador Owen LaRocque has congratulated Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves on his historic victory in the general elections of November 5th, 2020. In his congratulatory message, the Secretary General said the winning of a fifth consecutive term demonstrates that the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines have the utmost confidence in the leadership of Dr. Gonsalves and his vision for their future. Ambassador LaRocque also commended the government and people of SVG for successfully conducting the elections, notwithstanding the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister Dr. Gonsalves led his Unity Labour Party to a 9-6 victory in the November 5th general elections, following victories in 2001, 2005, 2010, and 2015. Leader of the opposition New Democratic Party, Dr. Godwin Friday, is warning of tough times ahead for the country. In an address to the nation on Wednesday night, Dr. Friday said the impact of COVID-19 remains a matter of grave concern, with an already weak economy, which before the pandemic had been brought virtually to a halt, damaging the tourism industry, with hotels and restaurants struggling against growing odds. Looking ahead, Dr. Friday said there is not much for Vincentians to look forward to.
There are no new capital inflows through investments to spur economic growth and create jobs for our people. And there are no credible plans to revive our farming and fishing industries. These are matters that we addressed honestly and constructively during the election campaign, and which we will continue to pursue. They are problems that we intend to address, whether in government or not. Our opponents, for short-term political gain, distorted and misrepresented the policies and programs we presented and lied about our motives and intentions. They sought to mislead our people while offering nothing constructive and hopeful in return. Some believed it, but thankfully, most did not. And even after all that, more people voted for the NDP than the ULP. This tells me that there is much work to be done, but more importantly, that there is hope that it can and will be done, though it may take a little longer.
The NDP's election campaign was centered on creating jobs. However, the party lost the elections by a 9-6 majority in favor of the incumbent Unity Labour Party. This country is having scaled-down activities to mark Caribbean Tourism Month that is held annually in November. The theme this year is One Sea, One Voice, One Caribbean. SVG's new Minister of Tourism, Carlos James, tells SVG-TV News that the ministry will be developing a holistic plan to drive the tourism sector forward.
We're going to see some changes, and I would allow the ministry staff to develop the agenda, crafted, of course, by me, put in place some of the plans and proposals which we have outlined, and we'll meet to discuss that. But we're naturally going to see some improvements. I will make some announcements in a very short period of time as to how we proceed in this short period.
James is appealing to all stakeholders to work with his ministry to develop SVG's tourism product for the benefit of all Vincentians, and he sees them playing a critical role.
Let us work together to build capacity. In this very difficult period of COVID, we must work together. We must sharpen the available skill sets that we have in ensuring that we are running more efficient across the board from top level to bottom. We see in a very short period of time the transformation that will take place with all of the major tourism development that is coming to mainland. We've seen it in the Grenadines, but on the mainland it is going to be something to look forward to. The creation of employment, wealth creation, in ensuring that there's linkage between not just tourism but also the farmers, and there's a available market for farmers and so on. And Ministry of Agriculture, Tourism and Finance, and there has to be that synergy, and there must be that level of support given across the board, and we all have to play an important role in ensuring that we drive the economy forward.
The tourism minister spoke about some of the initiatives and development plans that already exist, as well as those that will come on stream shortly.
Primarily, you're talking about all the major hotels. Sandals, they're bringing their beaches brand, Holiday Inn Express, the Marriott, Royal Mill, Virgin Atlantic. These are some exciting times that we're expecting to see in the not too distant future. And as a Minister of Tourism, it's my charge and my responsibility to ensure that we ensure that we have all of the necessary engines running, and the capacity to deal with the transformation within the tourism ministry that we're expecting to see.
Students from the Barley Technical Institute will this month be equipped with new techniques to bring their business ideas to life through a one-week seminar organized by the Center for Enterprise Development, the CED, in collaboration with the Savings Banks Foundation for International Cooperation. The seminar, with the theme Design Thinking to Develop a Business, is scheduled to run from November 16 to the 20th at the Barley Technical Institute. It will serve to commemorate Global Entrepreneurship Week 2020 under the CED's Youth Business and Entrepreneurship Training Program, and will be facilitated by staff from the CED who have been trained as trainers by the Savings Banks Foundation for International Cooperation. The CED said the seminar is a new approach to help entrepreneurs develop their business ideas, as is a reflective toolkit that focuses on people and customers, using a variety of tools and methods to create and develop innovative business ideas. This is a second training seminar to be introduced locally under the partnership between the CED and Savings Bank Foundation for International Cooperation. In 2018, the CED launched the micro business game, the MBG simulation, which is a financial management tool, and 2 members of CED staff are among 8 persons in the region who are certified trainers in the MBG. SVG today confirmed 1 new COVID-19 case. The person is a returning national who arrived from the UK on Wednesday with negative PCR test results but tested positive on entry screening. Repeat testing according to the multi-tier system, including testing done at CAFRA, confirmed this new positive case. NEMO's Health Services Committee said the traveler was in mandatory quarantine when the initial positive result was determined and has since been isolated in an approved facility. The adult will remain in isolation until cleared with 2 negative PCR results. SVG has now recorded a total of 78 COVID-19 cases, 76 of which have recovered. There are now 2 active COVID-19 cases, all imported from countries categorized as high risk. World Diabetes Day will be observed worldwide and here in SVG tomorrow, Saturday, November 14th, under the theme, The Nurse and Diabetes. The day is observed worldwide to raise awareness about the crucial role that nurses play in supporting people living with diabetes, known locally as sugar diabetes. Diabetes is a chronic disease where the pancreas does not produce enough insulin or any at all, thus leading to serious health conditions, which in many cases can be preventable. Rosita King, president of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Diabetes and Hypertensive Association, told SVGTV News today that due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the association could not have their customary week of activities. However, on November 25th, there would be a diabetes symposium at the Methodist Church Hall.
Based on what is happening, as they said, because of COVID, but the association is still going to have a diabetes symposium this year. It will be on the 25th of November at the Methodist Church Hall from 8:30 to 9. That is one activity that we are hoping to have. That is a planned activity. We are not so sure if any other activities will take place, but we know that diabetes is very important for us to share, so we'll be able to share maybe on another radio station information about diabetes. But the public is invited to come to our symposium where information will be shared about the management of diabetes.
Nurse King highlighted the aims of the Diabetes Symposium and is encouraging diabetics to be part of it so they can gain more knowledge about the condition.
The clients who are living with diabetes take care of themselves overall, because diabetes, contribute to a lot of complications. Your whole body is affected, your eyes, your feet, your heart. So what we want persons to do is to understand the disease. So first of all, if you're diabetic, you need to understand how it works. What happened, why your blood sugar go low, why it go high. And once you have understand that and why you have to take your medication. So one of our important things is to share information about self-care. how do you look after your whole self? Meaning that you have to make sure that you take your medication as prescribed. It makes that you have to do your exercise and follow up your doctor appointments. And your diet is important, that you stick to your diet, that you make sure that you have less salt, less sugar, but a balanced diet rich with fruits and vegetables. So overall, we are going to share information to the clients who will understand the importance of taking care of themselves.
Incidences of type 1 diabetes is said to be on the rise here in SVG, and Sister King is suggesting an increase in educational programs on the signs and symptoms of diabetes to help build awareness. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disorder that typically begins before adulthood, in which the immune system destroys cells within the body that makes insulin, a hormone that regulates sugar.
We have noticed, however, is that we are having an increase in type 1. And those are persons who are younger in age, and those are diabetic. That is not due to not eating properly, but this is something that is not known. Persons are younger, and this type 1 diabetes is that the body does not produce insulin at all. So you have to take insulin all the time. So this is not one like type 2 that you can prevent. You cannot prevent this one. So what we are noticing, St. Vincent, that we definitely have to do more education so persons can be aware of the signs and symptoms of diabetes, because it is now there's an increase in type 1 in our country, St. Vincent.
Sister King said that with the COVID-19 pandemic and dengue fever outbreak here, which is a risk factor to diabetics, persons should check their glucose regularly and use their medication at all times.
I will advise persons who are persons in the family of diabetics to make sure that they have their blood test done during this month or before the year finish. The diabetics must make sure that they continue to take their medication. It is important. Exercise is so important that at least for 30 minutes each day you exercise. Make sure if there's any problem that you are not aware of or have a concern that you seek help immediately. Because with a diabetic, as long as you have an injury, small cut, you need to go to the doctor, to the clinic immediately so you can be treated. Because because if your blood sugar is high or diabetic, these won't stay longer to heal. So you need to seek help as soon as possible.
The Diabetics Association president also noted that there has been an increase in amputations and foot ulcers, and is imploring non-diabetic Vincentians to take better care of their feet.
On your feet. And you know that you have to do self-examination. If you can't do it, you get somebody to assist you, or you have to purchase a mirror where you can use a mirror to look at your feet to see what is happening. So it is important that all diabetics, or all persons in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because it's not diabetics alone have problem with their feet, but persons that also other problem in relation to circulatory problems. So it is important that all of us take care of our feet. The feet, you have to look to see if there's any abnormal swelling, any discoloration, because sometimes if your sugar is not controlled, you have no feeling in the feet, so you may walk on something. That's why they ask you to wear shoes even in the house. So you have to make sure that there is no abnormal signs, no swelling, no darkness, no fungus. Those are the things you're looking for, because sometimes a person will pick up a little darkness. Well, they say, oh, that is normal, but it's not normal if your toenails were not dark before.